Hey, Klara Adalena here at the Life for Life Academy. Free the Feminine, Find the Soulmate, our exciting challenge. We're on day 2 and I'm blown away with everything that's happening on day 1. All the meditations, all the responses, the show up at our live session, all the comments. I think we had nearly 100 comments on it. It's clear that we are hitting braken een snaar, as we say in Dutch. We're hitting a chord. We're onto something here. When we unleash the feminine, we break through this whole stuckness that we find in dating. So I'm excited to move with you to day 2. This is about the source of the feminine. And let me tell you more about what I mean by that. Maybe you're noticing that life is amazing, right? It's good in so many ways. You're on track with your career, you're successful, you're taking care of yourself, of your health, you're doing fitness, yoga. Life is moving. But all the time, when you're alone at night in bed, or when you're coming home from a date, from a great event, you feel something is missing. It's almost like you're an empty shell. And as long as you focus on the outside, everything is fine. But when you go within, there isn't much there. Know that feeling? And it sucks, right? It creates suffering. It never can actually fulfill us as long as we have this empty shell feeling. Not even our career, not even being the most successful ones in our career. I mean, it's fun and for some time it fulfills us, but only for some time. Friends, yoga, fitness, personal development, always there is this something that is there in the shadows and that is not being included. You feel there's something more. You know what I'm talking about? What this does to us in dating is we become dependent. Because what do? We feel something needs to come and we start expecting our partner, our date, to give it to us. Do you see the dependency right in there? And what happens when we are out of our power, when we're dependent? We start accepting shit, right? He doesn't show up and we start giving excuses for him. We start pleasing. We start running away before he discovers that you're a fake. I mean, you're not a fake, right? But that's the feeling. I'm empty, I'm a fake. He's really into me, he loves me. Well, I'd better go before he discovers and before he leaves me. Know what I'm talking about? Maybe for you it shows up as that you're copying, always looking what are others doing? How does this work? I couldn't know, right? Because I'm empty. What should I do? Always looking at others. Always being a copy of and never being in your own power. Or maybe it shows up as rigidity. Just I have this one way that works. I have no inner reference. I'm empty inside. So I don't know how to adapt to things. I have no inner source to reference. So I can only do it this one way that I was taught. If you recognize one or several or all of these, then somehow again and again you will find that you lose yourself in love. We spoke about this yesterday. It's the number one thing. Remember, I spoke to over 1,000 women one-on-one and like in the session today, right? I speak to so many women in depth about their love lives. This one thing, it shows up again and again. We lose ourselves. It's the dilemma of our time. It's not a personal thing. It's bigger than that. And now we see another reason, right? Because we have this empty feeling. We have no inner reference. We are always pleasing, adapting, controlling, running before he finds out. Imposter syndrome, you know the whole lot. Spoke to over 1,000 women, as I said. It's the one challenge, the number one challenge in love and dating. And it's what we are changing right here. And once you change it, the magic comes back. It all starts coming from within. It's not this thing with the rules from outside and pleasing and adapting and fitting in and all of that. It's you, it's vibrant, it's alive, it's coming from way deep inside. When I'm true to him, I lose myself. Yeah, that's the dilemma, but that's not where I was now. So breakthrough number 2, that should be. No, yeah, I get it. Breakthrough number 1 was receive. That's what we worked on yesterday. But breakthrough number 2 is what we work on today. And that is free the feminine directly. That's what I promised we would do. And here on day 2, we're doing it, right? We're freeing what is wild in you, what is untamed, what is coming from deep within. We're freeing your source, your womb, your feminine essence. Remember the book Running with the Wolves? Women Who Run with the Wolves? I read it like in 1995. No, 1997. It came out in 1995. Well, something like that. That's a long time ago. Still, the book is inspiring so many women because it speaks about just this. There is more to us. We are not just women, just those women who show up politely in society. We are also these women who are running with the wolves, wild in nature, right? That's us too. And that is the part that we need to free. It's the 90% of the iceberg that usually people don't see when they see you. But what it is, what touches people, what inspires them, what wants them to be close to you. And the more you connect to it and free it and are not afraid of it and give it space, the more people will want to be with you. And the more strong in yourself you will feel, and the more temptation there will be to start doing all that pleasing and fitting in stuff. The sacred feminine is my word for it, because it is so sacred, because it is everything. It's like a goddess. It's bigger than any other thing that I know. And it's in you. And it's always been there, but now it's about accessing it. And that is what we're doing in today's meditation. This is an amazingly beautiful woman, right? But you wouldn't believe it. She had absolutely no success in dating. She's a doctor, a good doctor, a specialist. I won't share all the details to, protect her privacy. But in a big hospital in Germany, she has a leading function. At a pretty young age, right? But in dating, like the worst, stupid, silly, kind of guys. How are you, darling? The kinds that chat, that kind of thing. That was the only one she was getting in connection with on the dating app. And it totally threw her, right? She could see herself, she's beautiful. She's amazing in every way. So everybody was telling her, how can you still be single? You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. Yeah, inside she was dying. I don't know either. Tell me, Well, she found me, was really happy, and I was really happy. And we started to work together, right? And we worked on this thing, freeing the feminine. Here you're doing a few of my meditations, but in my signature program, Unleash and Attract, we have this whole series of meditation, and it builds up and it goes deeper and deeper every day. And then it really shifts towards connection with the man. It's an incredibly powerful series. So she started doing it, and she was like, wow, I feel different. I feel whole. I feel a woman. Wow. Has this always been there? Wow. She was thrilled, exhilarated, more than that. And, I showed her how you can keep that open, that deep source during a date. Gave her some very important tips for that. And it started to work. She felt different. Her energy was different. She attracted different men. Different men started to show up on the same dating apps. I can't say that enough. The problem is not the dating apps. The problem is you don't know how to get the algorithms to work for you and to get the right man to show up in your feed. She learned it. She started having fun. And I think it was only 2 weeks after she started dating differently, like 4 weeks into the program, and she met this man. And right on the first night, she was like, I think I found him. And on the second date, she is not from Germany, she's from another country. And right on the second date, he said, I never thought I'd marry a woman from the country where she's from. And she just said that like that and nothing more, right? And she came back to our group like thrilled, saying, I think he feels it too. He does, he did, and he does. And they're married, right? They're married. They're super happy. They just bought their house. And that's the shift she made because of freeing up her feminine. The pictures, by the way, were both taken after she started the course and when she was already tapping into that feminine place. But she was beautiful before too. So free the feminine. That's why this is so important. It works on so many levels. It attracts better men. It makes you feel confident because you feel whole, right? When we start searching from a sense of lack, that can never end well, right? Now you're searching from a place of abundance. So it does those two things. You attract better man. You start attracting from abundance. You just feel whole, right? You just feel good. So there is something in there. There is never this feeling of, oh, he's going to find out that I'm empty inside. It's full inside. There's so much to give and to share, and you feel it all the time. Now, why is this so hard? If this is us, right, and that's what I am saying, this is us, why are we not accessing it all the time? Well, I think we need to understand there is still so much negative messaging around the feminine in our culture. It's shifting at the frontiers of awareness. We're aware the feminine, we need it, it's beautiful, it's mother, it's goddess, it's everything. But it didn't reach all the corners of our unconscious yet and all the layers of our culture. So probably if you are a woman, right? We are women here. You've sometime or maybe often in your life heard this, or you've always trying to avoid hearing this. I'm too much. You're too much. You're too intense, you're too emotional, too unpredictable, too silly, too, whatever. I remember actually that movie, what's the name again? Dirty Dancing. Remember? Old one already. This is amazingly beautiful girl who plays that role of, what's her name? Baby at the beginning of the movie, but then later she gets another name, her real name. By the way, very interesting movie in itself to understand dating. Do watch it, because it makes you see something that she needs to find her wholeness, and then she finds her man. Plus it's so sexy, right? It's so sexy, it's so lovely. But I read an interview about it, about when they were filming it. And the guy was actually a well-known actor. She was very unknown at the time. And he was irritated by her. Why? She was always laughing. Now, when you look at her, it makes her so adorable, right? They're dancing, she gets nervous, she starts to laugh. It's beautiful. But the actor really leashed out at her. She was so silly. She made the filming impossible. She ruined all the scenes. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of judgment on the beauty of the innocence that she brought to that role. I'm just feeling the pain again of it as I think of that movie, and that, it was so harsh, so in contrast with what you see in the movie. And that's what happens all the time. You are there, so pure in yourself, and the judgments you get are so harsh and unfair. So, if you've had that a few times, most of us start avoiding it, right? I, for many years, nobody would ever tell me I was too emotional, right? That kind of energy. Which cut me off, of course, from my emotions, from my innocence, from my silliness, from my intensity, from my depth of feeling, from my core. So if you recognize any of that, today's meditation is going to be awesome. And remember, I promised I would shift your perspective of dating. It would never be the same again. I hope you see now, right? The problem, so to call it, of dating is not to text the right thing, to say the right thing, to wear the right thing, any of the right thing. Our challenge is to free our feminine. And from that place, a whole other level of dynamic will start happening. And we can become really us. And from being ourselves, we can attract the man who resonates with you. Simple as that. And there is a few things around it, right? Like we were speaking about in the group today, on that live session, about what if I want kids? Do I tell him or not? And, how do I deal with that? Those things. But I hope you get, the perspective of dating. We may be fully us and show up from that place and learn to receive everything that he wants to give, because he wants to be close. I tell you, he wants to be close to that feminine source in you. And when you do the meditation, you will feel even more why. So these negative connotations, messages, it's a huge obstacle to unearth our true selves. But in today's meditation, you will cut through all of that, and it will take you right to your essence if you can surrender to the journey. And otherwise, just do it a few times until you get there. And then you too will feel whole and start to shine your light, and you will be in a great position to make dating a success, be wildly attractive, and never again lose yourself. Wow, my promise to you. So for today, you will get again a meditation and a worksheet, plus you received the live session, plus now this inspiration, and of course the kickoff. Thank you so much for being here and for going on this journey. You're not only doing it for yourself. The world needs women in their true power. And allow dating to be the reason, right? To go there, to go where you never dared to go before. But once you have discovered it, I know you will bring it to every part of your life, to your meditation practice, to your yoga class, but also to your work and to all the people that you will impact. And that will start a ripple across the whole earth of the feminine, taking her rightly place again. And that is the only thing that can balance the out of control masculine. And together we can bring the world to healing and healthy space.